Is it all systems go in terms of security, personnel, training, everybody knowing what they need to do?
Yes, thank you very much. I think it's all systems go. All the preparations, I think, are smoothly going on. I think there has been, earlier on, there have been fears of maybe violence and all that, but I think now, right now, it's all positive, and I think the mood is set for a peaceful referendum.
What's going to decide this vote, Roba? And I'm talking here about the fact that they need a simple majority of 50+1, they need a 60% voter turnout, but there are other legal and constitutional considerations.
Yeah, I think it's clearly the 50+1 in terms of the votes, and also the voter turnout should be 60%. But in the worst case scenario, which is very, very unlikely of not getting 50.1 or the voter registration being less than 60%, there's a provision that the referendum will be repeated in 60 days, but that's very unlikely.
All right, now there are outstanding issues here, and I'm talking about the oil economy as to whether or not the oil fields in Sudan belong to Southern Sudan or sit on a no man's land between North and Southern Sudan. Issues around how this resource is to be owned and managed. How's that issue been dealt with? Because it was a significant component of the comprehensive peace agreement, and many experts believe it will define the decision to go independent or not.
I think just if you look at the CPA provisions, I think there is the ABA is a central piece in terms of the future of the oil, the future of even the stability of both the North and the South. If you look at the oil revenue now, 98% of the Southern Sudan's budget comes from the oil revenue. 50 or 57% supports, or of oil revenue supports the budgets of the North. So oil is central to both South and the North's stability to an extent. And in my view, I think if we look at it, and I think that's the view shared by most of the analysts, is that the oil can be a point of contention, but can actually be also a point of bonding between the North and the South, because it will be an issue of mutual interdependence if the South votes for independence. But we are also aware of the ABA arbitration, which kind of gave a lot of the parts of ABA to the North. But the ABA referendum, which is supposed to have been commissioned, which is supposed to have taken place or constituted, has been hit with a lot of disputes. But I think one of the major issues that the North and the South will get back to after the referendum is the ABA referendum issue, which needs to be dealt with through the popular consultation.
And Roba, finally, another contentious issue has been the question of Sudan's national debt, estimated to be 2 trillion shillings, and who's culpable? Should it be Northern Sudan? Should it be jointly North and South? Should the South be given some kind of absolution in terms of dealing with the debt that the country has incurred so far? All of this is going to have an implication on building a new country in terms of infrastructure, roads, healthcare, and a budget that's going to be necessary to do that. How's that issue been dealt with?
I think the issue of the debt is one of the very contentious issues which has been there for quite some time. I think in terms of dollars, it's about between 35 to 36 billion US dollars in terms of the debts. And there are those school of thought within the South, elites who argue that the debt should not be split. But I think actually the CPA had the issue about wealth sharing and debt sharing, which is going to be one of the central issues that needs to be addressed. So it's a contentious issue. I think it's going to be. I don't think there is any way that the South will evade paying their share of the debt, although most of the debts were incurred by the North during the liberation struggle. But I think as one of the issues which has been contentiously being discussed for quite some time, there isn't any way of the South avoiding it. But there is also a possibility that the debtors may be able to look at debt waivers or certain percentage of the debt forgiveness. And I think that's one of the things that the Northern government is looking at. They know that there's a lot of political will from the international community to maybe waive part of the debt in case the South becomes independent, particularly because of the interest in the South. But the debt in one way or another has to be shared. I don't think there's a way of going around that.